Carmela, Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and so we better think about some wines to serve.
How about we do something different this year?
Ooh, that's a great idea. What do you have in mind?
Well, I always like something festive and maybe something a little out of the ordinary this time.
Ooh, I like that. I'm in. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Hello, and welcome to the Wine Pair Podcast. I'm Joe, your sommelier of reasonably priced wine, and this is my wife and my wine pairing partner in crime, Carmela.
Hi there.
And we are the Wine Pair. All right, a quick orientation for those of you who may be new to the podcast. In each episode, we learn about and we taste and review 3 wines that are reasonably priced, meaning under $20, and should be easy for you to find. And our goal is to have some fun, learn about some new wines, discover some good wine, and talk about wine in a way that regular people like us can understand.
I love it.
And we are proud to say that we are officially recommended by the editors of Decanter magazine, who call us fun, irreverent, chatty, and entertaining.
Okay, so what about that word count? Anybody take a word count?
No,
Come on.
Let's not go.
For the next 45 minutes, I want a word count.
Oh, on
and
me,
who's
on
the
me, right?
chattiest?
Oh, boy. All right. So, Carmela, as we record this episode, we are only weeks away from Thanksgiving here in the good old US of A, and Thanksgiving is a big deal, wouldn't you say?
I think so.
Don't you think it's kind of a weird holiday, too, because it's like totally focused on food?
Well, it shouldn't be really totally focused on food.
But it kind of is.
Well,
you know?
I mean, I guess people do think, but you know what? It's just one of those menus that it's kind of set, right?
Yeah,
like
that's
where
true.
we're from. So then people are like, oh, this is the time of year that we break out all those traditional foods.
Yeah, and as we break out those traditional foods, good segue, we always think about what wine we want to serve. And so for this episode, we wanted to see if we could suggest, and of course, taste and review, because that's what we do, some unique and festive wines for Thanksgiving. Yeah,
something a little out of the ordinary.
Yeah, but still easy to find and still reasonably priced.
Right.
How about that? So now for our friends in Canada, we know we missed your Thanksgiving back in October. And for those of you, our friends outside of the United States, we know that this holiday probably doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot.
True.
But what I will say is a lot of the foods that we have on Thanksgiving are foods that you may have in other countries too. So, the wines, the food, we'll just talk about it, right? Whatever.
I love it. I love it.
There we go. Now, you are not the biggest fan of Thanksgiving, are you, Carmela?
No, that's not true. I like Thanksgiving. I don't necessarily like the food of Thanksgiving.
That's right.
I don't not like it. It's just not my favorite.
It's not your favorite. It's not your favorite.
You, on the other hand, seem to really enjoy Thanksgiving dinner.
I do like Thanksgiving food. So let's talk about the foods that we typically have for Thanksgiving. I'm kind of like flapping my wings.
Oh my God.
And how
He's
that
playing the part.
and how that impacts how the food impacts wine choice. So what are some foods you think about when you think about Thanksgiving?
Well, okay. So this is not a traditional Thanksgiving dish. I'll start with this, though, because our family does minestrone soup as a first course.
You had to go right down the weird path. You couldn't start with the normal stuff.
Fine.
You're right. Minestrone soup.
That's what I do. That's what you asked me personally.
You're right.
Correct?
You're right.
Okay. So that's what I think of. But I know, yes.
Hold on. So that is one food for sure. Soups,
for sure.
I think minestrone soup maybe not be totally common, but there are squash soups and those kinds of soups. And so you kind of have to think about what kinds of wines would go with that. Maybe something kind of acidic. Right. Okay. What are some other foods? Other Thanksgiving
Well, obviously, there's the turkey.
Toiki.
Oh, my God.
And toiki.
Yeah. What is a toiki?
A toiki.
I don't know what a toiki is. But...
Yeah, so a turkey, and a big bird, but not actually big bird. We're not going to eat big bird. Yeah. But anyway, a turkey is kind of it's white meat, it's kind of dry, it's kind of bland. So you need a wine
that's who's making it.
Yeah. Well, that's true. But so you need a wine that can kind of, hold up to that. What are some other foods?
Well, there's always the traditional mashed potatoes.
Oh, yes. With gravy.
And lots of butter.
And so that's a tricky one because starchy food plus a lot of fat. So you got to think about what you're going to serve with that. What are some other
Well, there's
foods?
Always the stuffing.
That's my favorite.
I do like stuffing when it's done right. And okay, the big question is, do you cook it in the bird or out of the bird?
Well, I used to be totally in the bird kind of guy, and now I'm totally not in the bird kind of guy. But I will say my mom, everybody thinks their mom most people think their moms are great cooks. I think my mom made a killer in the bird stuffing.
She made a great Thanksgiving dinner all the way around.
The turkey was always good, but she always complained, oh, it's so dry.
And
even
it
though
never was.
No,
never
it's
always it was. And she'd brine it. She'd do something a little different, even
but
20 years ago.
Her in the bird stuffing, we probably all got salmonella at one point, but it was delicious.
The thing is we all did survive. Isn't that how it goes? It's like they tell us to be super careful, and then we all survive anyway. Mostly.
You're right. So I did ask some folks out there in listening land, actually, in social media land, about some things that they have. And some people were talking about like a cornbread stuffing, which is kind of not something we typically have here in the Pacific Northwest, but I think that is a kind of a traditional thing.
Sounds really nice.
In some areas. What are some other things that you might have?
Well, there's always like the cranberry sauce.
Yes.
Blech. No, some people really love it. That's like people really do like that on the turkey.
I mean, that's tricky with wine. Super like tart and acidic. What are some other things?
Well, there's always a big green salad.
Greens. There's greens, and there could be green salad, Brussels sprouts.
True. Oh, but you know what I love? That actually wasn't something we had as a kid. We used to have it a little bit, but the sweet potatoes, the yams, roasted potatoes like that.
Yeah, like and sometimes people have that like sweet potato casserole with the mushrooms on top.
Mushrooms? You mean marshmallows?
Not mushrooms, marshmallows. You looked at me. I was like, no, that's really a thing. And then I was like, no, that's actually not the thing. It is marshmallows.
That sounds much better than the marshmallows.
But you have to think about that. So kind of sweet, kind of starchy, kind of wines with that.
Do people really still make that?
Oh, for sure. In fact, if you do out there in listening land, let us know and tell Carmela that you still make your mushroom. Marshmallow. I bet it's
delicious. I don't actually believe I've ever had that before.
I don't think I have either.
Probably that sweet, salty combination.
Yeah. It's probably good. Okay, a few other things. Let's do just a couple more.
Okay. For me?
Just anybody.
Okay, well, your family, your mom would make peas and tomato sauce.
Yeah, it's a very weird Italian-American odd thing. I don't even know if I think it's just my family made it.
Right. That was just one thing that came to mind. Also, pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie, but I'm talking about Maine. I'm talking about the Maine foods.
Are we going to get to the sweets ever?
No, we're not going to talk about sweets. We're really not going to. Okay, so then there's bread, right? Like you're going to have like dinner rolls or bread. Right. There's mac and cheese, which we never had as a kid or growing up.
It's really making a comeback.
Yep.
I don't know if it's making a comeback or it's just like now it's like popular.
More popular. And
taken from the South or
something.
Then
some people like other meats like spiraled ham.
Oh, ham.
I love a ham. I love a good ham.
Wow.
So here's the thing that's tricky about Thanksgiving is like there's lots of different tastes and flavors and stuff going on, and you have to find some wines that are going to fit.
Well, you need to be drinking wine all
night. Well, that's the other thing too, is because during the day maybe we're watching some football or doing some things with friends, and so there's appetizers.
And playing football in the morning. Football. Did you say playing football or watching?
I'm watching, mostly watching now because I'm old, but I used to play.
We used to play but like Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah, but like snacks like Chex Mix and popcorn and nachos and all that kind of stuff.
Nachos on Thanksgiving?
Why not?
That sounds amazing.
And charcuterie or whatever, but like salami and cheese.
Well, the
and
other thing is
this
meal, if you've ever been the one to host Thanksgiving, is kind of a bear.
It's a bear.
Exactly. No, and so really that's why also you need to be drinking all day so you can settle your nerves because the timing. Right. I mean, we've done a lot of dinners before. That one's tricky.
It is tricky. So, we would love to hear it is tricky. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't.
No, so we would love to hear if there's any foods that you think we missed. But again, what I'll say is it's tricky to find a wine, especially a single wine that will go with everything. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about some wines that will work broadly with these foods and why you may really want to think about having more than one wine. I was just saying,
why have one kind?
Yeah, one kind of wine. Exactly. And so, because you can't have a wine that's going to fit every dish. And you probably want to have wines because there's going to be a lot of people probably that will a number of different people will like, right?
True.
Or at least different people with different tastes might like. So we're going to talk about that. Some fun and festive wines that are unique and maybe crowd pleasers and fit well with the food. And as we talked about at the beginning, these are going to probably be a little bit different than you normally would have. So we kind of we'll talk about some typical Thanksgiving wines, but we also want to do something kind of a little bit fun and unique and festive.
That's what I like.
Right?
Yeah, that's why you're listening, right? To get some like a new idea.
I mean, why else would you be listening? Not for the entertainment.
Absolutely
no, it's to learn.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So we're going to get to that in a second. But first, Carmela, we have to do our shameless plug. So if you're enjoying our show, and why wouldn't you be, would you please go ahead and just subscribe to the podcast and then also leave, and I'm talking like Vincent Price, and then leave a nice rating and review. That would be really awesome. And then people who look at that review will go, oh my gosh, that looks really awesome. We have got to listen now. Yeah, let's listen because I might learn something. I have some fun. Okay, you can follow us on Instagram at The Wine Pair Podcast, and you can contact us on our website at thewinepairpodcast.com. And as we do every week, we'll tell you someone we think you should tell about us, The Wine Pair Podcast. And this week, do you have somebody in mind?
No.
Okay, so this week...
I'm just so excited I'm just like, who could it be? I have ideas. I do, but I want to hear your ideas.
I think you tell somebody who just loves Thanksgiving, like loves it up and down, the food, the day, the whole thing.
Or maybe you tell the hosts, because maybe you'll give them some ideas.
Or maybe just the person who's bringing the wine. Like if you got a wine bringer. Hey. But they might not be the host.
Well, true.
You know, there may be like, hey, you're just the person who brings the wine. Uncle Jim, who brings, which we kind of have an Uncle Jim. We're kind of
tired of Uncle Jim's wine.
Yeah, bring
Tune
some.
Into the Wine Pair podcast.
Jimmy James Suckling, bring some different wine.
Is that who you were thinking of?
No, not you. Said Jim. I didn't say Uncle Jim. You said Jim.
We do kind of have an Uncle Jim.
We do have an Uncle Jim.
Oh my God. Well, he's not really our uncle, but he's like an uncle to our children.
You're right.
If we said Uncle Jim, that might be weird.
It would be
we're
weird.
Like the same
he's
age.
Not our. It would be weird. Okay, can we get to the wines and stuff? Okay, so before we get to some unique wines for Thanksgiving. Carmela, where would you put Thanksgiving in the pantheon of your holidays?
Wow. Well, I like this time of year because of the, kind of that trifecta of holidays for us, the Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Like I like each month has something, fun and family oriented and festive, but it's probably, it's up there.
You know why?
It's in the top 5.
I always loved it. I'll tell you why I loved it. I love the food. Mm-hmm. I love football. I also love that you get this interesting break, like kind of a weird, like you get a couple of days off from school and that kind of stuff.
Are you missing the main reason?
Because family?
Family, buddy.
Well, that kind of that's family. That's just part of it.
This is a time you get to thank me. I mean, thank people.
Yeah, you're right. And people get to thank me. Okay. But anyway, okay. So I love Thanksgiving. You like Thanksgiving. You like it for the family, which is weird.
That's why it's not, I actually love the holiday. I really do. It's just that I think because I don't love the food so much that I don't like it. But I actually really like Thanksgiving.
You do like it, and I like you. Okay, so now
Thank you.
We got to get to the wines, but before we get to our fun and festive wines, I feel like we're just teasing people. Let's talk about some typical good Thanksgiving wines that you might want to serve. Okay, just really quick. You don't have to memorize this. We're going to have it on. You can go to our website. You can go to this episode, go to the show notes, and we'll have them. But let's say you're choosing a red wine. What are some red wines that you might serve for Thanksgiving that would be good with turkey and stuffing and all that stuff?
Well, with that type of a meal, you don't need anything too big and bold and fruity.
That's right.
Perhaps. So I would think like a Pinot Noir might be on the table.
Perfect. A Gamay or Beaujolais.
Right.
Really good. And those are nice. Good. Those are good. Medium, high acidity, medium bodied reds, and they can be chilled a little. And some other ideas
would be so nice.
Some other ideas would be like a Valpolicella, which we did in episode 46, a Cabernet Franc we did in episode 40. But, those are some good. But we've got a little bit of a surprise choice for you. Okay. What about white wine? Some ideas for white wines.
Well, I think you could do some of the ones we love anyway, like a Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes.
A Pinot Grigio would be nice. Yep. A Chablis would be great.
Yep, I think so. A dry Riesling.
Even if I would say a Riesling, like a
dry. I would probably do a dry, not a sweet Riesling.
Right.
Albarino would be really good.
Oh my gosh.
A Vino Verde would be really
good. Even the Gavi from last week.
Gavi would be good. A Gruner Veltliner and the Marsanne Roussanne would be really good too. A little spicy to it, right?
Yes.
So I think maybe a little spicy, but we have a surprise white wine choice, we think, and we may have a rosé. What do you say to that? Okay.
Goodness.
And I think you can serve a Chardonnay. I think you just,
sure.
like that would be fine.
Especially
even
like some people,
is fine. Yeah.
They're going to bring that because that's their favorite thing to drink. And it's Thanksgiving.
And with those foods, a little richness of the food, it'd go, okay, I don't like the over oaked, but you know what? Do your thing. Do your thing.
For show.
And then sparkling. I think you have to have a sparkling. Like, I think you have to have multiple wines, and I say you have to have a sparkling for Thanksgiving.
I mean, why wouldn't you, right?
Now,
I mean, every day is a day for sparkling.
Exactly. Now, I would always say you have a brut sparkling, which means dry. Dry means sweet in sparkling. Brut means dry. But I think you need a dry sparkling. But I think you can choose something a little bit. You can totally do like a white, like a Blanc de Blanc or a champagne or whatever, right? But I think a red sparkling would be kind of fun.
Oh, my goodness.
So, like a Lambrusco. Oops. A Lambrusco would be really fun. But, you could do a Prosecco. They tend to be a little sweet. So I would look for a dry Prosecco. But again, we have a surprise sparkling wine for you that we're going to share, and we're super excited.
Love surprises.
About it. Okay. Now, we're going to go to what you've been waiting for. Dun, dun, dun.
Whoa.
What are the wines that we chose for this episode? Why are these fun and festive wines? But first, we're going to talk about the criteria. Okay, what are the criteria? But what are the criteria? I know, it's like
Christmas.
It's like Christmas. Can we just get to the presents? Okay, but here are some criteria. Okay, you can say some criteria, but here's a few criteria. In addition to being delicious, I think there's a few other criteria. One, I think the wine itself should look good. It should be a pretty wine, like in the glass.
Right.
Should be a pretty wine.
Well, because you are at a more formal table too, so you're going to be using hopefully stemmed wine glasses.
And nicer dishes and that kind of stuff. I also think the bottle should be pretty. I think this is one place where the bottle should really be pretty.
This is part of the tablescape.
Exactly.
Right?
Accent the table. I think the wine should be a little bit unexpected and a little bit fun. I just think that's part of festive, like, ooh, this is kind of fun, like Christmas, right? And again, it should complement a wide variety of foods. And so that's, and a wide variety of palates. And so that's why I think you need to have more than one wine. Like we would say 3, you could have 2, 3, but we're going to do 3. We'll give you 3 ideas. We gave you some other ideas, but we would say at least 2 wines. So you can cover red and white, or you can cover sparkling and still, or you can just cover a few different bases with that. Okay, so here's what we selected. We'll get into the specifics in a minute, but here are the wine styles we selected. The first is a crisp white wine with some spice tones to it. It's a Gewürztraminer, a dry Gewürztraminer. That's a white wine, a good white wine. The second wine we chose is a Rosé. Yes, a Rosé. And this one specifically is from Provence. Provence. Oh, so this is going to be kind of a fruity, dry, and acidic wine, and it's going to be really pretty, super pink. It's going to look great on the table. And then the third is a red sparkling wine.
Oh,
yes, I said a red sparkling wine, not a rosé sparkling wine. Now, a rosé sparkling wine would be great, but this is a real red wine that's sparkling.
When do you drink this during the meal? All from the beginning?
I think you can drink it beginning to end.
All 3 of these, can you drink from the beginning?
I think so.
All the way through?
I think so.
Okay.
I think you can. Yeah, I think you can. But I think a sparkling red wine would make everybody sort of like, what?
Yeah, that is so much fun.
What are we doing? Yeah,
well, the problem is you'd want to have a glass of each, really. So then you're better call that Uber.
What's wrong with that?
I mean,
nothing wrong with that.
Again, you're there all day, right?
You're right.
You're doing it all day.
Watching that football, taking a nap.
Oh, my.
Get that tryptophan from the turkey working overtime on you, make you all
and
sleepy.
Hopefully you don't have to work on Friday.
Oh, please. Although some of us do.
True.
Like me, maybe. Okay. Alrighty.
Boy.
So again, you don't have to memorize all this stuff. We have this on our website if you go to this episode and look at the show notes. But let's talk about the specific wines that we chose for this episode. And I am so excited about them. I'm so excited to try them. So now, again.
This is like Christmas.
It is like Christmas. Now, and the cool thing about this is these are fun and festive and unusual wines, but they are easy to find because I got them all at our local Total Wine. And I know you can get a lot of them at grocery stores. You can get them at wine.com. So I know you can find them. And they are all under $20.
Amazing.
So, the fun thing about this too is you can have some great, fun, different, unique conversation piece wines, and they're not going to break the bank. So I think it's perfect. Like this to me is great.
Just right. Oh my goodness.
So again, I know I'm
You're so good. You're so good. I'm just excited. Like, wow.
Turkey.
Oh my God.
Okay, so anyway.
Please don't turn into a turkey.
I feel like
your mom used to call you a turkey.
She did. She was like that, and that was not that was not because she'd say you turkey.
And it wasn't just on Christmas. I mean, for Thanksgiving.
And mushrooms. But
God.
But I will say that it was the one thing that my mom called me that was like an insult that wasn't a swear word.
Wow. Good job.
Because my mom My mom, she could swear.
She was like a sailor. She is like a sailor. Don't mess with her.
And she'd punch you too.
But yeah, she would. She'd call you all turkey. You turkey. Or so she would say it in a pretty mean, aggressive way. What were you doing to deserve that?
I'm getting a little bit of let's not talk about it. I'm a little bit. I'm kind of weirding out a little.
Okay. Back to the turkey.
Back to the wine. Okay. So the first wine we chose is a Gewürztraminer. Now, this is a wine that originates from Germany, and it is grown all over the area of the Alps in Europe. So that's in Italy, in France, all over the place. And it's grown a lot here in the great state of Washington, where we are. Now, in terms of looks, Gewürztraminer is kind of fun because it comes in those long, sleek, thin bottles. There's some wines, Alsace wines, like Riesling and Gewürztraminer often come in these long, thin bottles. And there's actually a famous winemaker in the Alsace region of France called Trimbach. You can find them all over the place. And they have these yellow labels and the long, thin bottles. And they even do like a Pinot Noir in that kind of bottle.
Wow.
So not a traditional Pinot Noir bottle. So I think they look really elegant and pretty on the table. I think they're just kind of cool looking.
Yes.
And you can see them if you go to our Instagram, but they just are kind of cool looking bottles anyway. Now, we're not just talking about the bottle though. Gewürztraminer is a great choice for pairing with Thanksgiving food because it has fruity notes and that kind of stuff. But it also has spicy notes like ginger, incense and cinnamon. So it's kind of fits that mode of what
are you giving it all away? Don't give it all away.
No, I'm not. But I'm just telling you. I'm telling the people why they should be excited about this. Are you excited, people?
We're excited.
Are you excited?
Hooray, Joe.
Okay, so anyway, and it can be drunk really cold, like fridge cold.
Ooh.
So that's good. It's kind of medium acidity. It's kind of unique. I don't think people are drinking a ton of Gewürztraminer. Looks pretty on the table. I think it's a great Thanksgiving wine.
Hopefully you don't have to ever say the name again.
No, well, I am going to say it. And the bonus is we chose the Gewürztraminer we chose is from Chateau Ste here in Washington State. It's well regarded, and it's like $8.
What?
So,
it's amazing.
How do you go wrong with that?
You buy one for each person. No.
There you go. No. Everybody gets a bottle.
Yeah.
You get a bottle and you get a bottle. Okay. The second wine we chose is a Rosé. Now, a Rosé is not often found on lists of Thanksgiving wines because it's kind of considered sometimes to be a summer wine.
Yeah.
Now, before we talk any more about rosé, I just have to remind the people out there in listening land that rosé is not a varietal, it is a style. So the rosé depends, how the rosé tastes depends on the grapes that it's made from, and it can vary very widely. Very. So for Thanksgiving, we would recommend, and not just us, but the wine steward at the French Laundry in Napa, which is one of the best restaurants in the world, would say, get a rosé from Provence, France, or that style. Now, what is that style?
I believe it.
That style of rosé is made with Grenache, Syrah, and Cinsault. And these wines can be like dry and fruity and also good acidity. Now, it's pretty. Rosé, pretty on the table. It's going to look beautiful. If you get a sparkling rosé, that's fine too. But this one, just a still rosé will be great. And this wine, the one that we chose, is really pretty. We'll talk about exactly which one it is. It's called Château Gigery Côtes de Provence Rosé, or Gigery. I don't know what it is, but it's a beautiful bottle. It's kind of like thin at the top and it tapers down to almost like a funnel, like an upside down funnel. It's really pretty.
Nice.
And so I think that would be a really fun one to have. And while it's not as inexpensive as the Chateau Ste, it's still under $20, so that's good.
Excellent. Fun.
And so now the last wine I am super excited about, I'm a little bit nervous about because I'm putting myself out on the limb a little bit.
Oh boy.
Here's why.
Okay.
I have never had this wine. I have never had this style of wine. So I am betting money that this is going to be a good wine. And so I hope I don't do you wrong, but it comes from, the wine that we chose is a sparkling red. It's a sparkling Syrah, which is kind of fun. Now, Syrah is a good wine. It can be a good Thanksgiving wine because it's got a little spiciness to it. But this is also made by Treveri Cellars, which is, again, here in Washington State. And they make, I think their sparkling wine is inexpensive and really good.
So we drink that quite, it seems like we have
had that quite a bit. They're regular, or different, like they have a Blanc de Blanc. They have really nice sparkling wines and not expensive. And I think this is a sparkling wine. Like sparkling wine in general, I think is a great choice because you can have it all night through dinner. Like you can have, I think people think of sparkling wine as like a
The toast at the beginning, or yes.
Sparkling wine, if it's the right kind of brut, like a dry sparkling wine, you can drink that all through Thanksgiving dinner.
All day long.
You don't have to drink anything else. So again, we're talking about a red wine. At first, I thought about doing a Lambrusco, which is a sparkling red wine. And I do really like, there was in episode 35 on barbecue, we did taste the Lambrusco, which I think would be a fabulous choice. But when I saw this, I was like, OMG.
Yeah,
we've got to get this.
We got to try this one.
So this is unique. I think if you serve this at Thanksgiving, people would stop and go, "Oh my God, what is that?
Wow. Who are you?
Oh, wow.
Who are you anyway? Oh, you must be Joe from the Wine Pair podcast."
Yeah, only you would have come up with a weird wine like this. No, fun, festive, and unique. That's what I would say.
That's what the episode is called.
That's right. And so one last thing about this Treveri Sparkling Syrah, this red Syrah, it was served in 2011 at the U.S. State Department's holiday receptions. So I'm giving it a decent chance that it's going to be a good wine. I'm excited about it. There is always the off chance that we may choose a clunker, but I don't think so. I think I think we did good stuff. So what do you think?
I'm excited. I'm ready.
Should we do it?
Yes.
Let's do it. We're going to take a little break. We're going to try our first wine.
Perfect.
Okay, we are back and we are ready to try our first fun and festive and unique Thanksgiving wine.
You're kind of fun and festive and unique.
I feel like it today. So this wine, while I explain it, Carmela, as usual, you can start smelling it. But this is the Chateau Ste Gewürztraminer. It's from the great state of Washington in the Columbia Valley. The producer is Chateau Ste. This is a 2020. This was, with my discount, $7.19 at Total Wine.
Wow.
It's only 12% alcohol. It's 100% Gewürztraminer. And again, the bottle is just beautiful.
It's so pretty.
It's
a
super,
great,
it's like elegant.
tablescape
Oh,
part of your whole repertoire that you've got on the table.
yeah, I would say like the label's not awesome, but just the bottle
I think
is
the
so
label's
cool.
kind of pretty. Simple.
Okay, so what are you smelling?
Well, I'm getting some apple on it for sure.
For sure.
And I feel like it's almost like a spiced apple,
Spicy.
like a clove,
Yes.
even like a nutmeg, or it's almost like a
Cinnamony or something.
Yes.
It's like an apple pie kind of smell almost.
Right.
It's
yes.
nice.
It's nice. It's really got a nice bouquet.
It does. I kind of feel like I'm getting some melon on it too, like a honeydew melon or something. Are you getting a little bit of that? Gee, you should just
Cheers. Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
It's nice. I mean, the smell alone is just, it's really nice. It's a pretty looking
It is very pretty. It's
wine.
and it's nice and chilled. You can tell you just got this out of the refrigerator now.
Yeah, the glass
right?
is like frosting up.
Yeah, it's very pretty. Oh my.
So should we bust in?
Let's do it.
Bust. Let's
Wow.
bust into the wine.
Ooh.
It's spicy.
Sweet.
It's spicy though.
Spicy and sweet. Sweeter than what we usually drink.
This might be a little bit like off dry. I kind of feel like it might not be a totally dry Gewürztraminer. It might be a little off dry.
It doesn't say.
Well, it says dry, but it kind of tastes like an off dry.
Right. I would think so. I mean, there's definitely a hint of sweetness on it.
And very like appley sweetness,
Right,
apple
right.
pie sweetness.
Like a fresh apple, like a natural sweet. It says.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's
like a Honeycrisp kind of apple
Ooh.
taste. But don't you think
Yeah,
almost like
yes.
a Honeycrisp kind of apple taste? But also it has that spice on it. Like you can taste the spice.
for sure.
It's
for sure.
really nice.
It's not as acidic as we normally drink, I would say. It's very mellow. And I mean, there's the spice aspect, which is kind of fun and interesting and unique. But it's also, there's not like a real strong aftertaste. It's very easy drinking.
It's pretty acidic, but it's not super acidic. It's
think
not
it's-
like snappy acidic.
No.
It has a little linger on it. Like it's not just totally cleaning off the tongue. It's got a little. But you know what? Here's what I think. So let's talk about a little bit about food to pair. I think this is a great Thanksgiving wine because I think it would work. Like I'm thinking already about like stuffing, and I'm thinking a little bit about turkey already, and I'm thinking a little bit about like mashed potatoes, and I just think it's got a good, it would go with something kind of sweet.
Right.
I think like if you had the sweet potato stuff
Well, and the other thing
with
is
the
this-
mushrooms, the marshmallows.
Yeah. No, but the other thing is
Marshmallow.
that I find Thanksgiving dinner to not be like a super bold tasting meal.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of, not that it's bland, because of course, again,
Will you stop knocking your mic? I don't know what's going on. I feel like I got to
sit on my hands.
Yeah.
I got to sit on my hands. But I feel like this is kind of a good balance. It's sort of, not balance it out, because again, it's not super, it's not it can be a rich meal with gravy and that kind of stuff, but I think it's just kind of a nice, it just complements it really well. Yeah. It would complement the food really nicely for Thanksgiving.
And I think this would be a good aperitif, like a good before dinner wine, like just hanging out. Yeah, exactly.
Cocktail hour.
And I actually think you could have pie with this too.
Oh my gosh, you said we weren't going to talk about dessert.
I think this is a good all around like Thanksgiving wine. I think it's a really good choice. And as it kind of like
start the evening and end the evening with this.
Woo! And
Party.
Party. And as I'm like kind of, thinking about this in my mouth, the nice thing is it's Why did you look at me like I said something dirty? Because I didn't say anything dirty.
I just
you put wine in your mouth,
you
Carmela.
Think about it like you didn't, but you're thinking about it when it's in your mouth, but you didn't have it in your mouth anymore.
No, I'm just thinking about the tastes in my mouth.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to taste what's in my mouth?
No,
that's gross.
Thank you.
Okay, but it has a very sweet. You're right, like this sweet fruit taste at the beginning, but the lingering taste is nice and spicy. It's a nice spice. Like
yes.
I keep feeling cloves or cinnamon.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, no, I am enjoying this. I could see this for dinner.
She's going to drink this one tonight, by the way. She needs a good drink. Because I just know you. She needs a good stiff drink, and she's going to be pounding the Gewürztraminer later.
Okay. Maybe I will. And judge me if you want.
Judgy. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the rating for this. Again, for those of you in listening land who need a reminder on our rating scale, we rate on a scale of 1 to 10. There are no halvesies. You must choose a full number or a whole number or whatever the hell it is. And then 7 and above means you're going to buy it. 4 and below means we're going to pour it down the sink. And in between that, it's like, hey, we'll drink it, we'll probably finish it, but we might also look for something else. So
no mixed numbers then. No. Only whole numbers.
Only whole numbers. The old teacher. And when I say old.
Oh, wow.
Okay, anyway.
Here's looking at you.
Oh, boy. What rating would you give this wine?
Wow, the rating. Do I have to say the rating that
It's a Gewürztraminer.
Okay, the Gewürztraminer. I'm giving the rating. I'm going to give it an 8.
Wow.
I think I am.
I like it. I am totally torn because I kind of want to give it an 8 too. I'm going to start out with a 7. Okay. I reserve the right to change, but I will say, you know what? I'm changing my mind. Because I think if we're going to rate this as a Thanksgiving wine,
right.
I'm giving it an 8.
That's kind of how I feel.
If it's a Thanksgiving wine,
I'm not sure I would buy this all the time, but for
Thanksgiving,
fun, unique,
awesome.
It's kind of a treat. And it almost feels like a treat.
$8.
Oh,
$8.
And it's a beautiful bottle.
You could buy half a case of this and be totally happy, and nobody would know the difference.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's very tasty, and it is different. It's not what you're typically gonna choose or get at if you're going to a dinner.
And I think it's got enough oomph to it that people who like kind of Chardonnays and that kind of stuff might like this one too.
Yeah,
all right.
I think so.
Should we try the next one?
Let's do it.
Okay, we're gonna take a pause and we're gonna clean our glasses and we're gonna try our next wine. Okay, we are back and we are ready to try our next wine. This is the Chateau Gigery or Gigery Côtes de Provence Rosé. This is
so pretty.
It's really pretty. This is from Provence, France. The producer is Chateau Gigery or whatever. This is a 2021. It was $16.19 at Total Wine with my discount. 13% alcohol. This is made from Cinsol, Grenache, and Syrah. And James Suckling gave this a 91. 91.
Wow. Okay.
So what are you smelling?
Well, first of all, I just am commenting on this.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the bottle. The bottle is beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's got the glass cork or glass.
Yeah, so it doesn't have a cork.
It's so cool.
It's not a screw cap. It's got a little glass stopper. It's super cool looking.
Everything about it is very festive.
It's very festive. It's kind of elegant.
Label, yes, it's festive. It would be beautiful on the table. The color is lovely. It's kind of a pinky, peachy beautifulness. So, okay.
And I think again, I'm not normally like, oh, the bottle or the whatever. It matters at Thanksgiving, and it's a beautiful bottle, and you can take a look at Instagram. So, what are you smelling?
What are you smelling?
Well, my first smell, it smelled a little bit off to me. But it's warming. It's kind of like as it kind of warms up and
opens up a little
opens
bit.
up in the glass.
Yeah.
It does have some earthiness to it. I would say some earthiness to it. But I'm also starting to smell a little bit of like strawberry. I'm also smelling some watermelon. Water like a Jolly Rancher.
Oh, I can get that too. I mean, I can smell that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of the same things. I feel like, yes, it's kind of a tart red fruit.
Yeah, like raspberries or no? More like cranberries?
I think you're kind of right on, though, with that, like a little bit of that strawberry, like a strawberry watermelon or like a strawberry kiwi almost. Because kiwis are a little earthier too. And that, you see that a lot. It's a flavor like a Capri Sun flavor, strawberry kiwi. No, but I'm kind of getting a little bit of a combination of tart and sweet.
I'm also getting a little bit of rose, like a sweet rose too now.
It's really changed.
Like that. But you know what I mean? Like a plant.
Right.
Almost like that plant. Do you know what I'm getting at? Like sometimes, plants have a little bit of earthy smell to them.
I think, though, initially when we opened it, it smelled way earthier than it does now.
It's really opened up.
Yeah, you almost need to have this maybe open for a little while.
And I'm wondering if maybe it's
give
fridge,
it a good swirl.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's fridge cold. Maybe it needs to be just a little bit past fridge cold. Like maybe if you have it in fridge, and then you take it out, but you don't ice it. You don't ice it. You just leave it out of the fridge and let it kind of warm up a little bit naturally. Okay, what are you tasting?
Okay, it's nice. It's really nice. It's much tartar than the first one, which I know this is a rosé, but it's more cleansing, not as much fruit on it. You know
what's funny? The immediate taste that I got was like an herbal tea.
Oh, wow.
I got an herbal tea.
I can do that. Yeah, I can.
You can hear it?
That. I can hear that. I can do that. I can see that and feel that.
The after note of it to me is tea-like. It dries off. It's got some tannin.
Yes.
And it's got kind of that like tea taste to it, that black tea,
that little finishing flavor you get
dryness.
Out of tea. Exactly. It's
with
nice.
that earthiness. Again, I don't know why I keep thinking all this earthiness, but that's what I keep. It's like herbal, like not herbal, herbs, like herbs.
This one, though, I do think would be really nice with food. And Thanksgiving, as you said, is about food. A lot of it's about food. I think this would be better. Like the other one's definitely like.
You could drink it.
Right.
Whatever.
Like you show up and have a glass of wine while you're, getting to say hello to people. This one is like at the table enjoying with food. Do you think?
For sure. No, I'm absolutely with you. It's really dry and crisp. It's
really
crisp.
Dry.
It's got that crisp acidity to it.
Right.
It dries right out.
A little zing.
On the front, I'm not really tasting as much strawberry. I am tasting watermelon.
Yeah.
I am definitely tasting watermelon.
Yeah,
on the
a little
front.
bit. Kind of that Jolly Rancher watermelon that you were talking about. It's nice.
It's nice.
It's refreshing almost.
I'm glad you talked about the food because I do think this would go really well with turkey. Really well with turkey. Maybe even turkey with cranberry. I think it could hold up to it because it's got that sweetness and that dryness, and it's gonna work that way.
And I don't think it has to be like super duper cold.
I agree. No, we were saying that. Like I think again, I would fridge it. So it's cold, but then just leave it out.
Right.
Like I don't think you need to put it on ice. The Gewürztraminer I would keep on ice because I think you want that one really crisp and cold.
I think so too. Yeah, and the flavors in that too. I think this one you're not going to tire of the first one, but the first one you would have again at the beginning or the end. This is nice.
It's I'm kind of almost tasting a little bit of like citrus now to it, in a little bit of citrus too.
Yeah, I can taste that.
I like it. It's pretty elegant. It's pretty.
Cheers!
Oh, it's pretty elegant. It's pretty soft. You just are like knocking that.
Wow.
It's pretty, but like again, pretty elegant, pretty soft. I think it's a nice wine. I think people would be happy with this on Thanksgiving.
For sure.
This is more for like, I kind of think of that. This is like my Aunt Agatha's wine. Like it's not overpowering. It's kind of light. It's kind of like, it's nice. It's crispy and nice.
And it's such a nice host gift.
Oh,
like if you want to bring this for if you're bringing it all for everybody, that's great too. Or if you're serving it, but this is such a beautiful bottle, you could really just bring this as a gift.
I think so too. And I do think this is a wine that I would associate also with summer. I just think this is also a summer wine or warm. So maybe you go to Thanksgiving, at some point you go someplace warm, for winter.
Right.
This is a great wine for that.
Okay. Like if you're going to, go somewhere nice.
Go somewhere warm. You're going to go to California or Hawaii or whatever.
Love it. Are you getting like some ideas?
No. because I don't like hot weather, but it's fine. All right. What rating would you give this wine, Carmela?
So I'm gonna probably give this one a nice solid 7. I'll definitely buy it. Definitely give it away. Definitely drink it. But I think I preferred the other one just a touch more.
I'm a little worried because that's exactly what I'd give it. I like it. I'd buy it. I think it's great for Thanksgiving.
Why does that worry you?
Because I worry a little bit when we're exactly the same.
Oh my God.
We go together like
Whoa. My goodness.
People right now are like, cringe.
Yeah.
Okay, and now that I said cringe, they're like, cringe.
Yeah, exactly. They wanted to do that, and then they're like, okay, good.
He
knows
said
he's
it,
cringy.
and he's dorky. Whew. Okay, anyway. No, I like this. I think it's another great choice. And I think what's nice, too, about these two wines so far is they're different. They're different from each other.
Totally agree.
It's not like you're getting, kind of one very similar. No, they're different wines, and I think they complement the dinner and different tastes well.
And they're extraordinary.
Extraordinary. Is it extraordinary or extraordinary?
I think it depends on what you're trying to say.
You're right.
Right?
Right.
Like things,
or if you're
something's
trying to pronounce
extraordinary.
it correctly.
Well, true. Well, we know it's extraordinary, right? But I think if you say extraordinary, it gives it a little bit of a different meaning.
You're right. And it's festive. They're festive.
So festive.
Okay, well, speaking of festive, we're going to try our last wine.
Speaking of festive.
Me.
It's Joe.
No, I'm super excited for this next wine. So we're going to take a break. We're going to try this next wine, and we're going to be right back.
All right.
Okay, we are back, and we are ready to try our last wine. And this is the one I was nervous about. And I'm nervous about it, but go ahead.
But back up. We got to talk about the beginning. So, number one, this bottle is so Thanksgiving.
It's very Thanksgiving.
It looks like, and the weird thing is it's so unexpected because it looks like a bottle of sparkling. Like
yeah,
it looks
it does.
like it's, which it is.
It
is.
It's label and all that kind of stuff.
Right, but it looks very Thanksgiving. It's very like formal, fancy. Anyway, and then you pour it and it's purple.
And it's foamy.
It's
like
so foamy. Oh my God.
It's
so
red.
weird.
Like you just don't expect to see a dark red wine coming out of the glass.
Do you think the bubbles is what makes it so dark?
No.
Why is it it's a really dark
It's the grape.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So this is the Treveri Sparkling Syrah Brut. This is from the great state of Washington, Columbia Valley. The producer is Treveri Cellars. This non-vintage, so we don't know the year. $17.99 at Total Wine, 12% alcohol. It's 100% Syrah. So we've already kind of talked about the look of the bottle and the wine. So the smell is different.
It's very different. It's unique. It's out of the ordinary for sure.
It's weird. I'm telling you,
different.
like I'm a little nervous about it. It's different. It's, you know what? It's the first thing you said is it smells grapey, which it does. I think it smells
I guess maybe it did.
Little tomatoey, but I'm also getting grape skin. Like it smells like grape skins.
And it does. Maybe it's the grape skins because there's something earthy about it.
Very earthy.
Yes, very earthy. So I don't know if it's the skins. Like, when you get this, you see the skins and there's still some dirt on the skins.
Yes.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So, and then you said meaty.
Yeah.
I do think it has some meat, but as I'm smelling it more, there's something like a really dark cherry in there. Like a really dark cherry.
If you really search hard enough, you're going to find that dark
or a
cherry.
blackberry.
Okay. Bramble. Did you?
That was really loud. I don't know how we're gonna get that edited out, but that was like, Bramble! You're like,
it came to me, but I think you said that earlier. All of a sudden, I was like, I feel like I was on one of those those game shows.
I'm sorry. I know. God, all of a sudden, I'm shocked. It's warming up, and it's warming up on me.
Okay, that's good.
I don't know if my sense of smell has been destroyed or what, but
or maybe we're just trying so hard to like it.
Yeah. Okay, let's taste it. Let's see what we think.
Okay. Oh, it's not bad.
It's different.
It's definitely different.
It's really tart, actually.
Yes.
It's super tart, like a really
tannic too. Like there's definitely some tannins on it.
It's really tart. It's like tart cherry.
Yeah.
Tart raspberry. Tart raspberry.
Yeah,
more.
Kind of is.
Maybe more raspberry.
The effervescent, the bubbly makes it taste like a really not sweet, like Capri Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
I think so.
Like it's like you taste it and you're almost like, oh, it's like a soda pop, but there's not the sweetness on it.
It is like a soda pop.
It's like a soda. It feels like a
grape soda or
pop.
a strawberry or like a fruity soda.
Right. But without the sugar.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. So I got to tell you, I'm super intrigued by it. I kind of like it. I kind of and I'm kind of freaked out by it, but it's weird. Like, I gotta say the smell is a little bit off-putting. The taste is better than the smell.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think if you have this with food, it's going to go great with food.
Right.
Because it's super dry and it's really not like overpowering, but it's got good flavor to it. Like I can picture it in my mind. I'm at Thanksgiving dinner. I got a little bite of turkey, dip it in that gravy, put it in my mouth and drink some of this. I'm in heaven.
Yeah.
Heaven.
Wow.
Heaven.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Well, I mean, no matter what, it is very out of the ordinary. It's very pretty. And yeah, I think you're right. I think with food.
I think some people are going to be totally turned off by it. I'll be really honest with you. I don't think this is like a crowd pleaser red wine. Or a sparkling wine. I kind of think if you're going to go for a sparkling wine that's a total crowd pleaser, like, hey, no bones about it, like everybody's going to like it. Probably more of like a normal sparkling, like a Blanc de Blanc or Chardonnay sparkling or even a Rosé sparkling. This is the purpose of this wine is to make people talk. If you have somebody in your life that is like a wine dork, they will love it. Because it's so different.
Right.
But what do you think? I don't think it's a crowd pleaser.
No, I feel like you bring this to a very intimate Thanksgiving gathering. Fancy, but also like people you're really close to that you're like, hey, I want to try this. I want to have this wine with you. This will be kind of fun. I don't think you bring it like if you're one of 25 and you're like, I mean, we do that a lot. But or if
you're bringing it to family that you know is going to put you down.
True.
Like, don't bring it there.
Right.
If you got a sarcastic family, don't bring it.
May not want to bring it. Yeah.
If you got a nice family, bring it. They'll be like, oh.
We got a little bit of both.
I got to tell you, the more I'm tasting it, the more I'm liking it. It's grapey. It's grapey.
It is grapey. It sounds weird, but it is. That's the first thing that I kind of thought of was that it's grapey. It looks like grapey. I mean, it looks grapey and it's got that effervescent. It still has a little foam on mine. That's kind of purpley.
I think you're right, too. It's like an unsweetened grape juice. It's like a grape juice that doesn't have a lot of sugar in it.
Which is, I actually think too, like we were talking about having it with food, I think it's actually okay. It's just a drink. Like if you're having like a glass of this delicious sparkling.
The smell is still a little bit off-putting. It's just a little bit odd. It's like grape skinny, kind of weird.
Pretty intense.
It's intense. I like it. Yeah. I'm sorry. I like it. I know like the way that we're talking about it, it's like, okay, look.
It's really unusual.
It didn't knock the barn doors off like in terms of like, woo, I feel like we'll party. We're going to party. I think it's cool. Yeah. I think it's really cool.
Right. It's really so like different, which was kind of what we were going for, something different.
Yeah. And if you start pouring this, people are going to go, what the hell is that?
Yes.
It just looks so different.
Right.
Like you have never seen anything this dark pour out of a bubbly bottle where you pop the cork and you put it into a bubbly wine glass. You know, the other thing that I'm thinking about this now, Carmela, we're serving it in a champagne flute. I don't think I would do that.
I don't think you I feel like it looks a little out of place.
Well, the other thing is, I think this is part of the problem with the smell. I think if it needs to open up a little bit more.
That's a good point.
I actually think we should put it in a regular wine glass. Let's do that.
Okay,
Hang on one
second.
I'm going to take a pause.
I'll go grab it.
Okay, so we took a little pause and I poured it into a regular wine glass. It hasn't changed all that much, but it's changed a little bit.
I bet it would open up.
Opens up a little bit more, and I just think the smell is strong, but it de-emphasizes the smell. I think when it's in a bigger glass with more space to it. Like a flute, it just goes right up your nose.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's growing on me.
Okay, so what rating would you give this one?
So this is tough because I think I would bring it just for like a gift. I think it would be fun to have, like share with people. Just like, hey, look at this. This is different, festive, and you add the ordinary. But taste wise, it's hard. I'm not crazy about it. I think I'd give it. I'm just teeter-tottering between a 6 and a 7.
What are you gonna do? You can't do a 6.
No mixed numbers.
You can do a 6 or a 7, but you can't do 6.5.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and give it a 7.
Okay. I'm giving it a 7 as well.
Okay.
I'm giving it a 7 probably for the same reason you are. It's different. It's festive. It's fun. Thanksgiving. It's unique.
Right.
It's not an everyday sparkling wine drinker for me.
No. I wouldn't order this maybe even at a restaurant for one glass.
I might, but it would depend on what we're eating. Okay. Like I actually think this is a sparkling wine that you could have with a steak.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding you.
Yes.
Like you could. You really could.
Right.
Which is really rare.
Yeah, it's definitely could stand up.
You know what this would be a really good wine with? Would be like if you do a prime rib on Christmas or some winter holiday.
Oh,
then it actually hold up real well.
Yeah, it's very, wow. Very pretty.
So which of these are you going to finish tonight, Carmela?
I think I'll go back to the Gewürztraminer.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm tossed between the Gewürztraminer and this one actually, just because I'm like, I kind of want to taste it with food.
Okay. Yes.
So I might stick with it and just have it with food and just see what I really think.
I'll share the Gewürztraminer if you want.
Okay.
Too.
All right. So first of all, this is really fun.
Much fun.
We're going to do taste profiles, but I'm really enjoying the differences between the wines. They are so different.
Yes.
And they complement each other, and they're just like, they're like conversation pieces.
Exactly.
So let's talk about a Gewürztraminer. What are the taste profiles expected from a Gewürztraminer? Tastes of lychee, so strawberry or pear with citrus and some rose, grapefruit, pineapple, peach, apricot, orange, cantaloupe, aromas of rose, honey, ginger, incense, allspice, cinnamon, and smoke.
Oh, wow.
Now, Chateau, which is like a lot of stuff. Wow. Chateau Ste Michelle, they say it's aromatic, spicy, and luscious with a hint of clove spice on the finish, which we were definitely getting.
Definitely, yes.
But we were getting more apple.
But no, you were getting melon.
Mm-hmm. But they don't talk a lot about apple.
No, they don't. But
they had pear.
Yeah.
You know, like with the lychee.
And you were really going for, like you were saying, melon. One thing is the cantaloupe. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I can really taste that now, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the Côtes de Provence Rosé, a Provence Rosé, strawberry, melon, rose petal, celery, watermelon.
Nice.
So we got that.
Wow.
Wine Enthusiast says about this, Provence Rosé is lightly spicy with intense red fruits. You got that. Citrus, and sometimes a touch of minerality. There's always fresh acidity, a crisp touch, which we definitely got. James Suckling says about this one, elegant nose of raspberries, which we got. Cherry stones, didn't get that. And flinty minerals that extend to the bone-dry palate with a medium body and chalky feel. And then Sparkling Syrah. This is what Treveri says. Deep red color. Oh, this is good. Deep red color with an effervescence sure to delight. Our Syrah brings together dark cherries. We got that. Tobacco.
Okay.
Tobacco is a good call, but not sweet tobacco like an old cigarette tobacco.
Wow.
Like it's strong tobacco.
Yes.
And spice. Other sparkling Syrahs, they say raspberry, pomegranate, black peppercorn, vanilla bean, and cigar. I think the cigar is good.
Through.
I think that is coming through. So anyway, different, fun, festive, super exciting. Hey, listen, out there and listening to that. You want to come for Thanksgiving? Just send us a note. Send us a note. You're invited.
You can come.
Finally, after years of COVID, we are going to have people together. We haven't done Thanksgiving for like 3 years practically.
No, last year we actually tried to, but it
failed miserably. I think somebody got COVID or something.
Right, exactly.
Whatever.
And there was like 6 of us, which was fine.
It was fine, but it was weird.
Yeah.
We're going to do it.
Woo!
All right, let's do it. So I think these wines, great choices, super happy with them. Different, again, go to our show notes and find out more. So we want to thank you very much for listening to us, the Wine Pair Podcast.
During the season of thanks.
That's right. We are thankful for you. We go around in Carmela's family, we go around the table. It's kind of crazy. Everybody
25 people.
Yeah, we go around the table and everybody says what they're thankful for. And it's all, I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my wife. I'm thankful for my husband.
Wow, what's wrong with that?
You know what I'm thankful for? I'm thankful for you people out there listening to us. We are so appreciative of you. That's all I care about. That's all I care about.
We're going to say that. We're going to say that at the table.
And in return for our thanks.
And everybody's going to gasp. Okay, sorry.
In return for our thanks, which we are happy to give you, all we ask for in return, no strings attached, except we would ask you to subscribe and give us a rating. Wow. A 5-star rating if you don't mind. How about that?
So thank you. Well, thank you 100 times over.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you. And thank you. And we would love to hear from you. So you can reach out to us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com, and you can email us at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com. And you can follow us on Instagram. And you can also find us now on a Twitter alternative because Twitter has gone crazy and it's called Counter Social. So you can find the Wine Pair Podcast on Counter Social. And it actually seems to be a pretty positive environment. Nice. People are really friendly. Good. And so you can DM us, you can reach out to us, you can talk to us, you can send us a note, tell your friends and your family and the people at Thanksgiving dinner, and hey, don't blame us for this wine. The Wine Pair Podcast told us to bring this wine. Right. How about that?
Wow.
And so we just
throw us under the bus after all that thanks.
We want to thankfully thank you in a Thanksgiving way for listening to the Wine Pair Podcast.
Oh my God, my head is spinning.
And we will see you next time. It's because you haven't eaten and you've had wine. And as we like to say, life is short, so stop drinking shitty wine. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Happy Thanksgiving.
Imagination.